close that window real quick. I want to talk about this book that you have called Dear James.
Oh yeah.
Please, brother, man, enlighten us about this book, how it came to be, and what is it about?
So James Baldwin is my favorite author, favorite writer, one of my favorite black minds. Sometimes I get in trouble. I might get in trouble with this, but if they said you got 3 people to choose from to speak for you as a black person, as a black race, and it's King, X, and Baldwin, I would choose Baldwin. That's just for real.
Mm-hmm.
I just, period. And nothing against X and King, because X is my man, Shabazz is my man, King is my man, Baldwin is my cat. So what happens is, some of his phrases in his books are just so tight that sometimes I read his fiction just for a better understanding of the real world. So I was doing a poem a day with one of my mentors, and I was just looking for a poem, and I thought of a James Baldwin quote. And so then I wrote a poem to it. And then I was processing all this crap going around in the world. And then I said, you know what, man, let me do another one. And I just kept writing. So Dear James is literally a conversation between me and James Baldwin, his quotes and my responses to it. Like one of his quotes is say, to be a Negro in America, to be relatively conscious, is to be in rage almost all the time. The poem I started off with like, almost? Did you say almost? Like, how did you get to almost? I can only manage all the time. And so it's a conversation like, okay, where's almost exist, bro? Tell me so I can have a breakthrough. Then he said, it's one of them, and he was talking about how black children perceive themselves. And he said, and this could be an old reference, and then, you had to look it up. It's like, he said, it is a shame in a world of Gary Coopers to find out that you're the Indians. Then he's like, he said, well, white people need to find out is in their hearts why they needed to have a nigga in the first place. Because I am not a nigga, I'm a man. But if you see me and you see a nigga, it's because you need it. Do you know what I'm saying? This kind of stuff going, he said, hey, we can disagree and still love each other unless the disagreement is based in my lack of humanity and lack of access to freedom and justice. Now, that's a paraphrase, so I don't remember the exact one. But he's like, we can disagree and love each other. Unless the love you're talking about is rooted in my inhumane treatment and lack of access to rights and equality. Then we can't love each other. You see what I'm saying? And so this junk spoke to me. So I was, man, let me, this is one that we did with the brothers. Let me see, Dear James, what is this one? Hold up. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You were born where you were born and faced the future that you face because you were black and for no other reason. The limits of your ambition were thus expected to be set forever. You were born into a society which spelled out with brutal clarity and in as many ways as possible that you were a worthless human being. You were not expected to aspire to excellence. You were expected to make peace with mediocrity. So you could see what I was writing in the beginning of that poem starts off, the limit of your success was supposed to be the average height of white failure.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, did I tell y'all that my man has won national poetry slams? Oh, I'm sorry, I left that little bit out. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah,
but
the Boogeyman's a poet. He's been on stage. Man, he's rocked with legends. Okay, man. Let me just see out a couple of people, that he's collabed with. Lionel Richie, you may know that guy, dancing on the ceiling, all that. Commodores, man, Zoom, what have you, whatever, that guy. For all my rap hip hop heads, you may know some of these people I'm about to name, the God Rakim, Supreme, and man, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody. KRS-One, Chris, Boogie Down Bronx, man, self-destruction, all that good stuff. And my personal favorite, my favorite is just the ghetto thing. Word, De La Soul. Okay. Yes. Okay, man. That's my favorite. Man, that is my favorite De La Soul song. Period. That's what put me on De La Soul. Like when Potholes in My Lawn first came out.
Potholes.
I wasn't feeling potholes in my lawn. Man, my uncle comes to pick me up one day. We're driving around. We drive on this, we're on the south side. We drive through the park. Ghetto thing comes on. And I'm like, yo, who is this? And he's like, no, dude, this is De La Soul. I'm like, no, it ain't. And I'm no, he's like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, it ain't. And he pulled out the tape. I'm like, wow.
You might have to explain what a tape is.
Man.
What's a tape?
Yeah. For those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, it's, we used to have these things called cassette tapes, like there used to be these things called CDs. I don't know if you all probably use those for movies now because we stream everything. But
tape, like what tape, like Scotch tape?
No. They were music came on these little devices here. You put them in a Walkman. A Walkman was a little tape recorder with headphones that you would put on your little belt loop and you would walk around. Some people would jog, some would walk around. But yeah, so we had tape decks in the cars before whatever it is we have now. Satellite radio, whatever. But anyway, talk about, like you being collabing with, like these artists and these, like known legends and just like, come on.
It's still kind of surreal, man, because it's like, you're all like, hey, gonna be a project and this person's gonna be on it and this person's gonna be on it. Like, and you get to meet him and talk to him and you're just like, wow, like Lionel Richie was just amazing. He put me up on so much game when it came to the music industry, how to make songs, everything. You know what I'm saying? With Rakim and them, I was on the same project as them, but like I got to shoot a video with Rakim for Buffalo Gals. We got, sat and, talked to KRS-One. But man, I've got to sit and talk to the last poets. They're actually my godfathers. Umar Ben Hassan, Abiodun Oyewole, and Babatunde.
Okay.
Those are my godfathers. Got their numbers. I've been absent for a long time, but that's who I came up under. I used to hang with Amiri Baraka when he came in town. Muhammad Ahmed was my people. So then you got Savion Glover. He came out to Idlewild, Michigan. Folks who don't know about that. But I've been on the stage with everybody from Erykah Badu to Ice Cube to Common, you name it. I've just been on the stage with these places, Music Soul Child. So it's just like I've opened up for them, been on the same stages with them. So it's really just crazy because, when you first coming up, you did, like I did, I was the first male to win the national individual poetry slam title. And then I retired from the Apollo and Apollo Legend. So then it was just like, I did that stuff, but I ain't made no hit records or nothing. But you find out how much that stuff is respected when they say, oh, you went undefeated on the Apollo. Like, oh, really? You're the National Poetry Slam individual champion, not just team, individual. Mm-hmm. And then people are like, oh, bugging out. Like, what else have you done? And so it became one of those things. It got me into doors. Like at one time, man, I was high because I had Sonia Sanchez's home number, Amiri Baraka's home number, Dick Gregory's phone number, Last Poet, a couple of members of Last Poet's last phone number. I had Bobby Seale's phone number. Like I just had, because they would meet me like, here, Haki Amada Booty, I had his phone number. So it's just like, I'm just like meeting all these people, getting all these numbers and talking, running in, doing stuff, met Chuck D, Sister Soldier. I mean, literally, you got to run in circles where you were on panels and doing stuff with these people, and then they're sitting down and building with you. And I was like, this is some wild stuff. Like, I'm sitting down here with, and you just looking like, yo, this is dope. It's just like, so at one point you got to not stargaze or fan gaze because
dude, it's just crazy though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when people come up, let me tell you something. The wildest time I ever had was when I was living in Cleveland, and the Roots came to Cleveland right after I'd won on the Apollo, right?
Okay.
So we had a Roots concert And Black Thought, I don't know if you've been around them, but they just cool. So they just walking around. So he's walking down the aisle and I step out. I was like, yo, dude. Like, and he said, wait, I know you from someplace. Now I'm trying to give him a compliment, right? Like, yo, the concert, he said, no, fam, I know you from someplace. And then I'm just like, and I'm sitting up here like, I don't want to say it, but I'm like, it's the only place you can know me from is the Apollo. You that dude. And I was just like, and so we had a Roots concert. He just got finished rocking. It was him and somebody else. And you see in the aisle, Black Thought giving me dap and congratulating on me, saying he's happy to meet me. And people like, who are you? And I'm just like, but literally, man, you know how wild that is when you go up to give somebody dap after concert and they talk about you? Dude. And it's just, man, so it was, I ain't never experienced anything like that, man. Friends that I got to this day, folks that I know, and people trip out because you go places and people know you. Now this will be the second one, and this is the funniest. Because what's the dude who played Eddie Winslow on
Darius McCray?
Okay, so Malcolm Jamal Warner is a Leo. I met him in New York because it was at a barber shop, and they like, yo, man, you got to meet this one dude. He's one of the dopest poets out, blah, blah, blah. Pile of legends. So we meet, cool. We find out we knew each other. Like my ex-wife and her girlfriend knew Groove Beach Hill and him back in the day. So it was this big circle, right? So me and Malcolm just became cool, right? So I just moved out to California, and he invited me, and we were married at the time, my ex, to his birthday party. She was tired, with the kids. She didn't want to come out. So I come to the party, throwing a party in Santa Monica, because he performs on his birthday. Like, you can tell he's an artist. Who's performing on your birthday? Me and my band. So he's playing, so I come in, and him and McCray are talking, right? So it's funny because, the first thing I'm thinking is Eddie Winslow, Theo Huxtable.
Right, like, come on, dog.
Like, this is TV stuff, right? So when I walk in the door, he's talking to him, and I don't interrupt him. I'm just standing on the side, and he looks at me, and we make eye contact, and he gives him on. He's like, yo, man, I gotta go. My boy is here, right? So he comes over, and we talk for like 15, 20 minutes until he's about to go up to perform. And then he goes up to perform, and everybody walked up like, who are you? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, who are you? I'm like, just me. No, you got to be somebody. Like, why? He's like, Theo Huxtable just walked away from Eddie Winslow, and he talked to, and as soon as he saw you, he walked over and talked. I'm like, we just cool. It don't mean I'm somebody. It just means I'm somebody cares. But people would bug out. They're like, wait a minute, you, like, how do you, like, cause he literally just stopped the conversation and came over. But I imagine he'd been probably talking to him for 10 to 15 minutes already. So he's at the end of the conversation. He didn't just like diss him, but he walked over and everybody was like, well, who are you? And so when I walk in places, people will see me and know me from Boogeyman days. And they'll be like, what's up? Like, you know him? And I'm just like, like, I don't even want to talk. But so it's strange because I can't talk about the world I used to live in because it comes off as braggadocious, being braggadocious and arrogant. But the thing about it is, at one point, that was the whole world I lived in.
Right.
Like, that's all. Like, I went backstage at everything. There was a point where I didn't pay for tickets. I wanted to go see Kings of Comedy. This is back when Juan was alive, Steve Harvey's man from Cleveland. I just called up Juan and said I needed tickets. You know what I'm saying? So I literally got tickets to the Kings of Comedy and got introduced to everybody in there through Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of it, again, okay, one more. Because this junk is fun. I can't talk about this no other place. So we backstage. So backstage, you got Gerald Levert, you got Bone Thugs and Harmony. Okay. Because this is in Cleveland, right? Right. You got my man Silver B, who, if you know anything, he's a Cleveland legend. Okay. All of these people are back there, right, after Kings of Comedy. So Steve is leaving out because everybody's talking to him. He's leaving out. So we just start doing, and Steve walks about 20 feet, and he turns around, and he says, "Yo, Boogie." I'm like, "Yo, what's up, man?" He said, "You don't call me enough." And then everybody looked at me like, I said, "Dude, I ain't got your number." He said, "Who you call?" I said, "I talked to Megan." He said, I forgot what he said. "Don't talk to Megan," or whatever the conversation was. He said, "Yo, but dude," he said, I said, "You change number all the time." He said, "Just call Megan." she always got my information. And then everybody is looking at me like, wait a minute, why did Steve say you didn't call me enough? So that's what I'm saying. That's how it is. Because I'm walking around and they got big Willie money, and all the time I got little silly money. But I'm known for my talent and ability, so I'm running in these circles.
Right.
And I'm meeting all of these people. You know what I'm saying? And they're hooking me up with all of these people. And so it's crazy, man, because I got stories about meeting so many different people. But to me, it was just wild, man. I was just like, when I think about it, I still can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some of the stuff that happened and who I talked to and had access to, you know, we sitting on the same panels, performing on the same stages. And I'm just like,
hey, dude, like,
it's wild.
I mean, yeah, but so look, I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do. I'm going to break character. Normally, I will ask you, what is the one word that best describes you? I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna tell you what I think is the one word that best describes you. Okay.
Okay.
Resource, bro. That's the one thing that keeps jumping out in my head. Resource, and when you think about a resource, man, it's valuable to everybody around. Okay, not just not just one person. Okay, man, you've worn many hats, bro. You done sat in many different arenas. People, man, from poetry to group homes to doing, man, mental health now. You know what I'm saying? Man, you've met many people. You've had an effect on many different personalities. Okay, whether you want to or not wanted to, you have. Man, when I think precious resources are hard to find, and when you do find, they're hard to protect because someone's always coming after them. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I got that.
That's just, man, just sitting here and us having this conversation and fellowship, as I like to call it, you know.
Oh yeah, this is fellowship. I only been on here. I only do this with people I like and who I jive with, man. You know, sometimes you do the interview and it's about that time. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of resource, I do want to put this. I do have a play, Dear James, that I was going to do in June, but it looks like I got a couple gigs and I'm going to be doing some speaking at in June. Okay. But I'm looking at the thing in July, and I realized, because it keeps getting pushed back, because there's a brother named Charles Reese who's been playing James Baldwin for the last 20 years. He's a famous actor. He's been all over the place, but he's most known for James Baldwin. Matter of fact, he's going to be leaving pretty soon to go over to Europe and be there for for the entire summer or forever, because I'm doing James Baldwin, because this is the 65th anniversary of The Fire Next Time, and next year will be the 100th anniversary of James Baldwin's birth. So he's around there. So God worked it together. We ran into each other. People introduced us. And so he's not physically in the play, but we recorded him as the spirit of James Baldwin. And so it's points where we're interacting on the screen, like it's a multimedia play, but it's called Dear James, the play. And literally it's one of the most scathing and ostracizing pieces on America, but it's done in James Baldwin style. It's done from a point of love. Because James Baldwin, like, I love this country. He's like, this country doesn't love me. And that's one of the reasons I love James Baldwin, because they couldn't dismiss him as either idealistic or hate. And not that that's anything on King or X, because they were both brilliant. But I just like the way that he beat up on America, and the way that America had to either say, I hate who loves me, or just admit who they were. And so we having this conversation, that's Dear James, and it literally starts off with a letter to James saying something, and he interacts through the whole thing where we're talking to each other, and instead of just the quotes, we have the quotes being said by Charles Reese. So it's Dear James, a play. I will let you know when the final dates come. Yes. But I realize I'm glad it's getting pushed to July, because July, that's my mother's birth month. And so, you know, I'm like, you know what? That's gonna be the jump. So yeah, so Dear James, the play will be out in, like I said, most likely July, or like the first 2 weeks of June, and then July. But it's gonna be in Long Beach, California. at the Aurora Theater. So I will come back and let you know when
Please do.
everything is made, because we're like, I got a meeting on Monday to show up to multimedia for it, start putting it together. And so but James is just my cat, man. So but this is one of the other things we talked about, how he talked about it, right? Listen to this. James Baldwin talking about America, black music in America, right? It is only in his music, which Americans are able to admire because a protective sentimentality limits their understanding of it, that the Negro in America has been able to tell his story. He said, the only reason we are allowed to tell our story through music is because it's sentimental enough to disarm white folks. And therefore they don't have a full understanding of it. So we can tell it without getting killed. Think about that. He said, the only reason we're allowed to tell our story in music is because the sentimentality of it blinds white folks from understanding. Think about how deep that is.
That is, bro.
And then check this out. But this is how the poem starts off. America would not recognize black music if they met it on the corner. In conversation, in a heated debate, in any form spoken, minus the instruments and the silky, sultry voices that hypnotize and numb, make pain palatable, reviling rhythmic, disdain danceable, upheaval, hip and upbeat, insults intoxicating. America, you don't recognize these songs are about you.
Woo, brother! Like, man, when it cuts, it cuts so deep.
Yeah.
God.
I was like, let me do a poem, but let me finish this one, right? About you. Are overcoming your wrong, are wishing you did more rights, instructions on how to survive you, are ignoring your opinions, our self-definition, our frustration at your insincerity, our rebelling, our storytelling, our celebration of ourselves, melded into melody so you won't destroy the message and kill the messenger. So you will sing along instead of lynch and criticize and bomb, and lynch and criticize and bomb, the most sampled American hook in the country's music pantheon. You think you are really on, but you are just faking. Accenting the offbeat, laughing at different times to the same jokes because you don't get what's funny about what we are laughing at. We've been speaking in codes and spirituals in the fields, passing notes through lyrics and beats in plain sight. You think we were looking for angels to save us, to muster strength to work harder for the bright side of darkness, when we were notifying others of your coming. So it looked like we were working with all our might when we were really looking for the servant's light. Wanted to know what time you go to sleep at night, what path to take when we finally take flight. You've heard the chorus for centuries. Thought we were talking about heaven. Thought we were talking about heaven when we've been talking about freedom. Thought we were running from the devil when we were planning our escape from you. Couldn't hear the hubris while listening to the humility of the harmony. Didn't fathom the volition in hymns where we petition God to change our condition. America has never met black music, only heard it through clogged ears that muffled its true meaning. So yeah, man, that's why me and Baldwin get along.
Damn. Oh. I am speechless, bro. I am speechless. Like, okay. I see it now. I see why.
So that's the play. But this is the light side of the play. The pieces in it that I put in it are more scathing than that. Like,
okay. That's on the light side, right?
No, really. When it comes to it,
right.
That's the light side, because people didn't understand how deep Baldwin got.
Damn.
And what he was saying. So, like, literally, dude, it's like I said, I plan on, Republicans hearing this and it getting banned. So we're gonna be doing it in back rooms and garages and stuff.
Bro.
But, my boy said, hurry up and do it so people can see it before it make the ban list.
Yeah, man, because it will make the ban list, man. It will get banned. Once you do this, it will get banned.
Oh, and thing about it is, it's a mixture of poetry and monologue and dialogue. Everybody's a part of it. So I break the fourth wall. So if you come to the play, you're going to be part of the play. I'm going to be talking and interacting and expecting you in some places to react back. Like we do a psychological makeup of America through back and forth, where I have you say something and I say something, and we change the words to see if it makes you feel different as a person. And so we gonna go through this. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go there. So yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. We about to have fun. So come see it. I'm let you know. Come see it while you can.
This man is a treasure, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, y'all need to protect this man. All right.
Oh yeah, dude, I've been thinking about that because with all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, going around, you know, I'm just like, like, what am I gonna do when it gets nutty? Because I don't want to endanger people. So, you know, it might be, you know, you buy a ticket and you only find out where it is once you buy it. And you know, and you pop up things, you know what I'm saying?
But you really gotta be, man, so real quick, and we can just stay on this for like a couple of seconds, but you gotta be mindful of that though.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we do live in a time now where, man, I don't have to have a reason. Just the fact that you're doing James Baldwin, and I don't know who that is, but how it's making me feel, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact you're doing that. Let me go do something about this.
Mm-hmm. And they will. And the thing about it is people who, white folks who fall in love with James Baldwin because of his message, and they watch all the debates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when they really start listening and reading his books, because he criticizes America even in his fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
one of the quotes in the book is taken from Giovanni's Room, and that's when he's exploring his homosexuality and stuff. Mm-hmm. But one thing he said in there, and I'm gonna do this, man. I just love James Baldwin. Man, think about this quote hit me so hard that I was just like, because it's not about just homosexuality. It's not about just coming out in identity. This is just talking about a stolen dream. So everybody knows the story of the Garden of Eden. You know, Adam and Eve messed up. They got thrown out with angels and the flaming sword, right? He said, and this is not a book of quotes. This is actually just a paragraph from the book. Perhaps everybody has a Garden of Eden. I don't know. But they have scarcely seen their garden before they see the flaming sword. Then perhaps life only offers the choice of remembering the garden or forgetting it. Either or, it takes strength to remember. It takes another kind of strength to forget. It takes a hero to do both. People who remember court madness through pain, the pain of the perpetually reoccurring death of their innocence. People who forget court another kind of madness, the madness of the denial of pain and the hatred of innocence. And the world is mostly divided between madmen who remember and madmen who forget. Heroes are rare. Think about this. This is in a book of fiction.
Wow.
The world is made up mostly of madmen who remember or madmen who forget. Heroes are rare.
You know, there's a story about James Baldwin and Richard Wright. And they had beef. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this story.
They had beef.
Yeah, they had beef. And when I heard like the whole,
I got 4 minutes because our school's right down the street. Okay. I got 4 minutes before I got to break down. So go ahead.
I mean, when you say that, and man, and I'm thinking about all these things, and now I'm thinking about like, okay, that just popped into my head. Richard Wright and James Baldwin having beef, like writers having beef. You know what I'm saying? But when you break down the type of person who James was and his writing style, and the type of person Richard Wright was and his writing style, it's not to say one was better than the other or whatever. Man, like, sometimes I just feel like, man, when two people are great, it's just hard to see the middle ground.
Yeah, but it didn't help that that James wrote a critique of Richard's work that Richard wasn't quite in love with.
Well, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know I'm good, dog. I know you're good. It's just hard for us to see. It's just hard for us to see this common ground. You gonna call my native son trash? All right, dog. When I see you, it's on. You know, like,
literary beef.
Like literary.
Yeah, man.
But,
yeah.
But man, brother, look here, man. You have to come back. Okay.
Oh, bro. I will be back. It is a done deal.
There it is.
Patty got your information.
Yep.
I got your information. So I won't put it this way. I'm gonna make you the exclusive. Before I do any update about the play or anything else, I will come to you first before I make any public announcement.
Bro, man.
One brother to another, just because we brothers from a different mother.
I love it, dude. I love it. And I just want to say, I appreciate you, man, coming on this platform, man. I just appreciate, man, this has been one of the best, for real. And I'm not just saying that. This has been one of the best conversations I've had. You know what I'm saying?
That, bro.
Because, no, for real, like, it's fellowship, love, realness. That's all I got to say. On that note, drop, boom. Okay, man. And second of all, shout out to Patty and Ultimate Connections, man. Look here. Yes, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So, real quick, if people want to follow you, want to get in contact with you, how can they do so? Social media, email, whatever.
Very easy. The Boogieman, DABOOGIEMAN 216. The Boogieman 216 on Instagram, the Boogieman 216 on Facebook, and the Boogieman216.com is the internet kingdom, and the Boogieman 216 on TikTok, even though I've been putting up much on TikTok, but I'm gonna start doing it because I'm like, damn, it's another platform. And I'll also have a podcast that I just do with me and I record. It's called Out of the Box, 2X's 777. And it's on Spotify and all other kind of stuff, but Out of the Box, BOXX 777. And I'm terrible about doing, I only got like 5 episodes, but I got things about, you know, America and politics. I got something about how we treat each other, you know, playing around with words. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, but just been too busy. But I'm actually going to start putting up stuff on a regular basis. You know, and got some mental health stuff up there too. So, you know.
Well, man, I'll just say this. It's not about the amount of episodes. It's about what's in them. It's about the content that you're distributing, sir. And man, if it's anything like this conversation we've had, I already know it's fire. All right.
Appreciate that.
On that note, man, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms, Word with Ty Brownlow, or go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Y'all gonna get this gospel, plus other great stories as well. Man,
Yes, sir.
the Boogeyman, Anthony Rucker, we out. Peace.